Hello everybody, West Country Explorer here. I've caught the bus out to Odstock, which is a little village about 2 or 3 miles south of Salisbury, and I've come to St Mary's Church. And the reason I've come here today is to tell you about the story of a gypsy curse that had been placed upon the church. So if you want to hear the story of the gypsy curse, keep watching. This is one of those stories where different sources have slight different variations to it, but the general outline is all the same, so the variations are sort of very minor ones. We've got this grave here, as you can see, a very old gravestone now, but down here we've got the inscription: in memory of Joshua Scamp, who died April 1st, 1801. May his brave deed be remembered to his credit here and hereafter. And it's Joshua Scamp who's at the centre of the story and the resulting gypsy curse. So who was Joshua Scamp? He was a gypsy, and he spent a bit of time living in and around the Odstock area. And then one occasion, a horse was stolen. It belonged to a gentleman who lived in a nearby village, Steepleton Ashton, if I remember rightly. And Joshua's coat was found sort of near where the horse was stolen from. So as a result, Joshua got accused of stealing the horse, and he was hung from the gallows over in Salisbury at Fisherton area. Now the truth is, it wasn't Joshua that stole the horse, it was his son-in-law. And on the night that the horse was stolen, earlier on that day, Joshua's son-in-law had borrowed his coat, hence why his coat was found sort of near where the horse had been stolen from. And Joshua, he decided to take the blame for the horse being stolen, even though it wasn't him, not out of any love or respect for his son-in-law, but to protect his daughter from becoming a widow. He knew that if he pointed the finger at the true culprit, it would be his son-in-law that would go to the gallows, and his daughter would end up sort of like being a widow. So he took the blame out of love for his daughter. I mean, his son-in-law was eventually apprehended, did eventually admit to the truth, that it was him that had taken the horse. And the son-in-law, from what I've read on one online source, was like hung from the gallows over in Winchester area. But yeah, so it was the 1st of April 1801 that Joshua was like hung, and he was allowed to be buried in the churchyard. I mean, even though he'd taken the blame for the theft of the horse, a lot of people knew that he was innocent, and he was also a well-respected person in the area. There was the gypsy community that was still in the area. Every year, like round about April time, they make a bit of an annual pilgrimage to Joshua's grave. They'd stop off at the local pub first for a few drinks and then come to the grave. And as time went by, the annual pilgrimage became a bit rowdy. They got a bit drunk and raucous, and yeah, it was a little bit too rowdy for the sort of church wardens' sort of preference. They didn't like it. So what they did was they took to locking the church up. So the next time that the Gypsy community came along, they discovered the church was locked and that they couldn't go in, prevented from entering the church. So they weren't happy about this. So the Gypsy Queen, a lot of sources say it was the Gypsy Queen. One source says it was Joshua Scamp's daughter, placed a curse on the church, saying that whoever had locked the church would sort of face an untimely death, and also placed a curse on the church warden. Now the gentleman that locked the door, he died the following Sunday after the curse had been sort of placed upon the church. And the church warden, he was dead within the year. So what the rector did was, he wasn't too happy about what was going on. He was a bit freaked out by it. So he, to make sure that the church stayed unlocked, because obviously he didn't want it to be locked and the curse to carry on, to make sure the church stayed unlocked, he threw the keys into the nearby River Abel. So I'll take you down to the River Abel now. As you can see, the church just over there. Got the River Abel here. Got a little picnic area here. So if you're in the area and fancy a bit of a picnic, you can do. It's a good site for a picnic as well, I reckon. The church key that was thrown into the River Abel, it's believed that it's still in there somewhere. But I mean, it just goes to show how powerful the belief in curses can be. The fact that the member of the church staff chucked the key in there to prevent the door being locked, to prevent the curse taking its toll. Now, one thing that has happened, I'm not sure when it was. One article I read gives the impression it was early in the 20th century. Another article gives the impression it was probably round about the end of the 20th century, start of this century. But basically, the event was a load of church clergy, like I think the Archbishop from Salisbury and some vicars, and also members of the congregation, like general population, got together and held a special service to lift the curse, where they all sort of linked arms, and I think they did prayers and had a general service to lift the curse. And a new key had been cut, and they held this service to sort of lift the curse, and at the same time locked the church. And when it was locked, the curse didn't take effect. So either A, the service worked and the curse was lifted, or B, the curse was never in effect in the first place. So you can believe it whichever way you like to believe it. Suffice to say, nowadays the church can be locked without the person who locked it dying an untimely death. So, do you fancy going inside? Do you want to see if it's locked or unlocked? Yeah, I already knew it was unlocked. I came in here a bit earlier before I started doing my video. So that's the story of the Gypsy curse that was placed on St Mary's Church in Odstock, just outside of Salisbury. I don't know if gypsies still visit Joshua Scamp's grave. I don't know if that annual pilgrimage is still honoured, still made, I don't know. But I mean, it's an interesting little story. And I mean, I enjoyed learning about it myself, and I thought, yeah, got to do a little video on it, because these little stories sort of that we find dotted around in the little villages, it'd be a shame for them to disappear and become unknown. So I couldn't resist doing a little video on this one, just to help keep it alive, keep local history alive. Well guys, hope you've enjoyed watching it. Hope you've enjoyed the story. I look forward to seeing you again in my next video, whenever that might be. I'm slowly getting a bit more mobile. Those of you that watched my last video will know I'm currently suffering a bit of a fractured fibula. So I'm slowly getting there, slowly on the mend. So hopefully in the very near future I'll be back out doing sort of more regular videos. But anyway, in the meantime, I'll just keep pressing up. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. And in the meantime, guys, as usual, stay safe, take care, God bless.